was always talking, oh man, I love your voice, we should do a project together. And I was like, all right, man, you're such rock star, I have to say now, it's like, didn't expect, and they grew bigger even in the next years, so that, all right, that's not gonna happen, this death metal thing, he's so busy, always on tour, writing music for Volbeat. Well, and then it was 2022. He called me when I actually was walking around in the streets of Stockholm with my wife. He called me up and said, Mark, are you ready for the death metal project? I said, oh, yes.
Yeah, let's go. Today on the show, you're going to learn everything about Asinhell. Asinhell is originally the brainchild of Michael Poulsen, who is the arena rock superstar fronting Volbeat, along with Morton of Raunchy, and the man we're talking to today, the legend Mark of Insidious Disease and Morgoth. And we learn from Mark how he met Michael, to why is the band called Asinhell, how it was inspired by the passing of LG from Entombed, to what makes this debut album Impii Hora so special, an update on Michael's vocal surgery. Also at the end of this chat, Mark leaves us with some amazing advice for anybody who's aspiring to be a metal vocalist. It's cool to hear how excited he is about this album drop, and you can listen to it right now, streaming everywhere. Asinhell, Impii Hora, brought to you by Metal Blade Records. I've been spinning it like crazy, genuinely love it, and it was so cool to pick Mark's brain on this entire project. So yeah, let's get right into it. It's so great to meet you today, Mark. I'm loving the new project, Asinhell. Listened to the record multiple times. Luckily enough, I got it sent to me, and I'm just really vibing with it. And just with Michael, I'm very familiar with his history. Like I've listened to Volbeat for over a decade right now, and it's interesting because I noticed, like, beyond like the radio singles that people hear, if you really listen to those albums, there's some like deep metal cuts in it, like the way he plays, like little like thrash riffs and stuff. And I think it's just so cool with Asinhell for him to just go full heavy. And I kind of just want to know like your history of even meeting Michael and bringing this project together.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and yeah, great words, and absolutely, I can absolutely relate with that. That you say there was some death metal structure sometimes in the Volbeat stuff, and also with like having already like guest musicians on records like Millie Petrosa and Barney from Napalm. I think Michael tried to sneak in this his little thrash and death metal roots in the Volbeat stuff as well, but I think in the end he wants kind of split it. I know that some people, probably don't get it, kind of. The Volbeat fans probably, they just don't appreciate it probably, but yeah, and my history with Michael goes back to the mid-90s, I would say, when
Wow.
I was playing with Morgoth in Denmark, and Dominus, his old death metal band that he formed, I think in 82, 83 or something. They opened up for us, like when we played in Copenhagen or in Esbjerg or Aalborg or wherever in Denmark. And I think that that's when we first met, and I think that's the very first contact we had. And we kind of lost touch in the early 2000s, and I didn't even know about him forming Volbeat, or this was kind of a different genre too, so I didn't really follow that anymore. But then he got back to me when I released an album with my band Insidious Disease, the first album that was like 2009 or something. And he reached out to me and say, this is Michael. Remember me from back in the day when we played some shows together in Denmark. And yeah, I really appreciate your album. It's great. I love it. It's like, I said, all right, thanks. And he said, yeah, I'm having another band, not Dominus anymore. It's called Volbeat. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. And actually he said, oh, we're gonna play next week. We're gonna play in Berlin, where I'm located at. And then I said, oh, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna come around. And he said, oh, we're gonna play with Entombed. And I said, all right, that's cool, you know. And
It's
I
sick.
thought they would open up for Entombed, you know. I was like, oh, right, seen
Oh,
Entombed.
other way.
Yeah. And then I went to the venue and it was like, all right, it's like a huge venue. It's like 10,000 capacity. And I was like, man, Entombed got so big, man. It's like 10,000 they pull, you know. It's like, and then when I went into the venue, it's like all people having Volbeat shirts and having this rockabilly attitude and stuff, and was like, wait, this is doesn't seem like an Entombed crowd, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the right show. And I said, yeah, but he said his Volbeat's so huge, you know, I didn't even know. And then was
Mhm.
I entered the backstage, I was like, man, you should have told me. I didn't even know that Volbeat was so huge already. You know, like in 2008, they pulled like 10,000 people in Berlin.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's crazy, you know. And yeah, of course, it was great to see the Entombed guys there, and was like, oh man, I thought you guys were headlining, but uh, they were just the support act, you know. So it was like, but that was a really fun evening, and then we reconnected kind of, and since then we never lost touch and always like talked about the death metal stuff, you know, sending back and forth like bands we liked, you know, even like little links from YouTube, like very obscure death metal stuff, you know. And Michael is such a death metal nerd. He's way more into the really underground stuff than I probably am, you know. It's like he knows all the bands and all the details and all that, you know. It's like,
That's
uh,
awesome because I think a lot of his fans wouldn't know that side of him
yeah,
too, just by listening and seeing like the Volbeat stuff.
exactly. I mean, he always wears like shirts on stage or off stage with like death metal bands and stuff. But I'm pretty sure not all the people know that his like really like his passion is the death metal stuff still, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, since then we have been in contact and always like wrote each other and saw each other when Volbeat played in Berlin, where I'm located at. And I did some like when Barney wasn't able to sing the song, Eveline, I always like stepped in.
Oh
for,
yeah, that's the one where it has the guttural stuff going
yeah,
on. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah, yeah.
where they have the death metal sting. Yeah, so since then we never lost contact, and then he was always talking, oh man, I love your voice, you know, we should do a project together. And I was like, all right, man, you're such a, I mean, rock star, I have to say now, you know. It's like didn't expect I mean, and they grew bigger even in the next years, you know. So that next time they came to Berlin, they even played in a venue for 20,000 people, you know. So it's like,
Mhm.
all right, that's not gonna happen, this death metal thing, you know. He's so busy, always on tour writing music for Volbeat. So yeah, but he always like kept talking about that, and I was like, yeah, I'm up for it. If you whenever you are ready, I'm up for it, you know. Well, and then it was 2022. He called me when I actually was in Stockholm, walking around in the streets of Stockholm with my wife. He called me up and said, Mark, are you ready for the death metal project? I said,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
What we
let's
do now?
go.
And that was right after or shortly after LG from Entombed passed away. Um, a mutual friend we had, you know, like
Yeah, condolences.
yeah. And I don't know if I think you've probably read the story in the sheet that Metal Blade sent you, because he was close
Mhm.
with LG too, you know, from Entombed, and LG tried to call him a couple of times before he passed away, and all the time Michael wasn't able to pick up the phone. One time he was at the register in the supermarket. One time he called him at night, probably just to say goodbye and something like that. And a couple of days later, he passed away. So
Yeah,
Michael really
tragic.
felt really shitty about that, that he couldn't pick up the phone, you know.
Mhm.
Then he was like back on tour in the States, I think, and he talked to his guitar tech and telling him, well, I'm a little bit inspired to write some death metal stuff, you know. And it's like, can you look up for the death metal pedals, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, they had a little chat, and all of a sudden, without touching his iPod, all of a sudden Entombed came up with LG yelling, "I'm full of hell." So
Yeah.
that's what Michael said. This is like the call LG gave him to say, now it's time to do the death metal project. And that's why he called me immediately and said, "Mark, are you ready for this? I just got a call from LG." He said, it was like, "You got a call from LG?" No, I said, "Yeah, really." It's like it's
His soul, like his spirit type of thing.
believe something in this spiritual connection kind of things and stuff. So yeah, for him it was like yeah, LG called him and said, "Now do the death metal project, Michael." So yeah, and
Amazing.
in 22 we exchanged the first song ideas. I mean, him and his good neighbor and friend and old longtime friend Morton went into the garage of Morton and just jammed around a little bit, also on like very simple and very uh, whatever, not really posh, uh, uh, let's say rehearsal place. It was his little garage with a
Yeah.
drum kit and his old one little speaker and nothing really fancy. So he said, we're just gonna do the old school death metal on the old school instruments too." So
Love it.
and recorded on the iPhone, which they sent me to sing along with or sing some stuff on, and it worked out. It was like that, it's like we exchanged the files and sent the stuff back and forth in a very kind of primitive way, and that's how the record came together very quickly, kind of, in like let's say 8 months or something. And yeah, then we went into the studio with Jacob Hansen, who also is an old like comrade of me and Michael, of course, because he produced all the VOLBEAT stuff. But um, I also like played a lot of shows with him in his band Invocator in the early 90s. And I don't know if you know that, but Jacob is is the guitar player. I think he was in Invocator, old Danish death thrash band. So that's how the came full circle. It's like,
I
and
love
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's almost like such like a big journey. Like you said, like going back to like the early 2000s, and it's so cool that just like you never know who you're gonna meet and what's gonna become of it too, with like similar passions. And yeah, you mentioned him hearing that full of hell part. I also read, like, just to give people context, that he almost like tried to call the band Full of Hell, but there was like other too many names like that, so he kind of you guys created the name Asinhell, which I
yeah.
thought was pretty
No,
awesome. Yeah. Oh,
we
and you
had
got the merch already. Yeah, let's go.
yeah, we had to we had to change the name into yeah, into Asinhell, but yeah, but that's fine. It's like there was a band already called Full of Hell, so it was very
Yeah.
quick that changed the name into Asinhell.
Yeah, I even love hearing that story about going back to the garage too, because I know Michael, he's doing arenas with like Metallica and stuff, and even you, like I look up Morgoth, and there's the walk-in festivals and everything, and it's almost it's got to feel a little humbling too. And I also read in the press release, Michael was saying that it feels like he's like 17 again, like when you just start in a band, you're just doing it from pure passion, like it's almost like a little reset on all of you guys to just do something new like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great. And I think that's what you can hear also on the album. That's very spontaneous, not too much thinking about stuff, not too whatever picky about guitar riffs. It's just like it has to come from the stomach and from the heart, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And also it was very quick that we assembled the songs, kind of. So yeah, that was, I mean, just like it felt like back in the old days, kind of yeah, not thinking too much about what could be a good hook or whatever. It's like it just came natural. So, but on the other hand, of course, Michael knows so much about songwriting nowadays, that he also can transform the probably the Volbeat knowledge
Mm-hmm.
into the new stuff as well, but also still has the, you know he knows how things should sound,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's so it was so like when I heard it first was like, immediately hooked with the stuff. You know, there wasn't anything I would say, oh, you could change this into that, or maybe this part a little bit longer or shorter. It was just like already perfect when he sent the stuff over. You know, it's like, yeah, and I think he's having a vision of it. You know, so yeah, and it was. I mean, I'm really grateful that he picked me to to sing on that stuff. You know.
Yeah, I feel like it's perfect too. Like just even like the voice and the riffs too, and yeah, just listening to it front to back a couple times too. Like you said, there's not really like something I would say it needs to be changed. Like it's no filler, you know, it's just all killer type of thing. And I love how even though it's gritty and everything, it still has like that certain catchiness too. And I guess like you mentioned, it comes from years of being a professional songwriting and just being a master at your craft with structuring everything. And is there a specific song that like really sticks out to you that you really love, like whether it's singing or just the meaning of it or anything?
Not really. It's kind of the same thing that you just mentioned. You know, it's like it all flows really like natural. And I've thought, or have also in interviews, people ask me what song is your favorite, and I said,
Mhm.
uh, I can't really tell you. You know, it's like because every song has a certain part that I totally love. You know, and I can't really pick a song, but probably Impii Aura, the last song, is really yeah, it's a little bit longer than the others and has a little bit yeah, a mid part which is a little bit more like longer parts or whatever, so that sticks out a little bit because it's not very fast, it's a little bit more mid tempo. um
Mhm.
Probably that one, but all the others are like just like it's just more like a punch in the face kind of thing, you know. Yeah, maybe the last one is a little bit different, so it sticks out maybe a bit, but all in all, I don't really can't tell you
Mhm.
which I love the most. It depends on the day.
Yeah, that's cool. Then that's a great sign. And yeah, even same with me. I couldn't tell you what my favorite track is. It's just something like every time I've listened to it, I hit it and just let it play through.
Yeah.
Haven't skipped anything. It's just it's really it's a great piece, and I'm excited to see if you guys actually like tour and play this live. Is that in the works? Or?
Well, first of all, we said it's probably won't be able to tour because Morton and me are having a family. We're having a day job.
Mhm.
We have a regular jobs and stuff. Not professional musicians like Michael.
Mhm.
But after finishing the album, we said, man, this is it needs to be performed too, you know. It's like, and of course we can't go on tour like 6 weeks in the States and 6 weeks in Europe in a van anymore, you know. But we
Mhm.
said, yeah, we definitely gonna play shows, playing festivals, playing selected shows. Yeah, and that would be great if we can do that in the States too, or in Canada too. That would be perfect, you know.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
not gonna be that we're gonna be on tour like a 6 week tour in a van anymore, I guess.
definitely. And yeah, that would be make it even a bigger attraction too. It's just like kind of like this little super band doing selective shows too. And yeah, I know you can't do the full on the road 6 months or whatever, but yeah, I do hope you make it to Canada or like one of the metal festivals, like I think they have a couple in the summer. So yeah, I hope I'm gonna put that out in the universe because I selfishly would like to see it live and everything.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great. You know, it's like would be great to come back to the States, play some selected shows, play some shows in Canada too. That's yeah, that's but yeah, we're working on it and we talked about that to the management and they are I think they're all already working around that in the background. So I'm hoping for next year, 2024, when Volbeat is taking a sabbatical kind of like to write a new album and not tour or not play shows. So that's a time for Asinhell to play some
Mhm.
selected shows for sure.
Yeah. And even I saw a news report last week and it was saying that Michael's kind of getting like vocal surgery
Mm.
as well too. So even like I don't know the severity of that, but him not having to sing is probably a blessing in this time now, like if he's even like in the condition to go and even play and stuff. So to have you kind of just take the lead on that, that's got to be like a good timing thing for everything in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel sorry for him because I know how it is. I've lost my voice several times on tour too, and then it's a horrible thing. You have to perform, and you don't want to cancel a tour and stuff. Um, and he had that like a couple of years back already when he was struggling with his voice. But I know this time he's getting this operation, actually, the surgery on his vocal cords. So yeah, I'm really hoping that it turns out well, and that's why he can't do interviews anymore too. It's like
Yeah.
he just needs to relax with the voice. And I know as a vocalist, I know how hard that is. You can't really, you're not allowed to talk. And if you lose your voice, that's a really tough thing. And feel really sorry for him. And yeah, but I'm sure he's a very positive person, and I'm sure he's gonna be okay after the surgery.
Yeah, all the best wishes towards him. Hopefully he has a great recovery on that. And even like I recently met somebody at a show last week. We were at a Hatebreed show. A stranger came up to me as I was yelling like the lyrics, and I'm not a trained vocalist. And she's like, "Oh, you got a good like growl," but I'm like, "Do you notice I only say like 3 words and I stop because I just like tense up." And I also met like a lot of other people who like kind of want to get into metal, but they don't know how to properly condition themselves. It's like
Mm.
it's almost dangerous in a way. And I just want to know, like, you as a total vet of doing the style over years, doing like full sets and everything, would you have any advice for somebody who's trying to be like I guess going into extreme metal and wanting to be a lead vocalist?
Mm. Well, I had the same problems before I took vocal lessons in the early 90s. I mean, we started as a band with more of like I didn't even have a PA, so I started to yell the songs against the instruments, like without using amplification. So every time I was like not able to talk anymore. And I think after the Cursed album in '91, I took vocal lessons with a professional jazz singer, and she told me like really like techniques, like how to breathe out of the stomach, not also like sing through the throat, but off the stomach. Having relaxing lessons with like doing certain things to the vocal cords, and also like gargling with sage, for example, is like the
Mm,
best honey and stuff like that. And the other thing is, on tour you have to take it easy. You can't, if the other guys are drinking, smoking, whatever, as a vocalist, you shouldn't attend. Uh, as hard it is sometimes, but it's always like go to bed early,
yeah.
gargle or sage tea, don't smoke, don't drink too much, but that's yeah. But I think also with the years, to how to use your voice properly and not to stress the vocal cords too hard. And I think it's a matter of also like training. It's like a muscle too. If you don't train a muscle, it gets loose. So it's the same with the vocal cords. But of course, it's like if you do a 6-week tour, afterwards, just like the voice is gone, probably. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I probably won't do a 6 weeks tour in a row
Yeah.
anymore. So yeah, but it's yeah, be kind to yourself, and try to do good stuff with your vocal cords, like yeah, honey tea and sage tea, and yeah, not talk too much on tour. Don't smoke, don't drink.
Yeah, that's great and sound advice too. And I don't know, like for some reason, like it's just like I guess people who are like really in tune with like metal stuff, they can appreciate beyond just the screaming. And it's such a skill, almost to the point where like I could hear somebody like a corpse grinder go for an hour on stage, and in my brain, I'm like, that's a thing of beauty. But the average person to be like, oh, what the fuck? This is scary type of thing, you know? It's such like a crazy skill. And like when you break down the layers of it, it's insane what you guys actually do and the conditioning that goes into it.
Yeah, it's kind of a sports lesson, you take. It's like it is stretching the vocal cords, and you have to. I think. I mean, I warm up a little bit before the show. I never did that when I was like whatever, 16, 17, 18, just drinking beer,
Mm,
smoking,
yeah.
on stage, and then after the show the same. So yeah, it was like I could probably do that in the first couple of years, but afterwards I was like, all right, it's like that's not good, it doesn't work. So
Hmm.
you have to take care of yourself. That's probably one of the most important things. But yeah, death metal is like definitely, I mean, it's tough too, it's not like if you're on tour, it's not like a party all the time, it's like
Yeah.
of the musicians nowadays, it's not like this sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing anymore. It's more like go to bed early, have your tea, and whatever, and a yoga lesson.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, the similar statements from the last interview I did was actually with Alex, the bassist of Cannibal Corpse, too,
Yeah.
and he was saying the same thing. He's like, I don't. He's like, I don't know how people play hungover, and it's interesting now, like over the years we've seen legends in other genres from rock and like soul music and stuff, and they're kind of doing their thing, but this is the first wave of legacy artists in death metal, because death metal is kind of like a 30-40 year old genre. It's still fairly new compared to the other stuff, and it's just interesting to see and hear how everybody kind of is adapting as they get older and maybe a little more sore in everything. But it's cool to see everybody still like doing it and have that same spirit as when they started or everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's really exactly what I would say too. It's like very nail it on the point.
Yeah. So this week, if people are listening to this brand new September 29th, Asinhell dropping the album. Yeah, finally, like, how do you feel going into the release?
Well, I'm excited, so the first reviews have been really good. So and I'm confident in the album, in the songs and in the stuff in the stuff we did, and in the yeah in the record company who did an amazing job for us, as a newcomer band. I would say they were just like fantastic in everything they did for us so far. So I'm really oh, my kids are coming in here.
That's
Sorry.
awesome. Yeah, it's
Uh,
okay. It's okay.
but yeah, it's I'm really grateful for being able to release an album in the age of 53 and still be able to do that, and also have like a good album coming out which people seem to like, and yeah, that's a great feeling, of course.
Yeah, that's awesome, Mark, and it's inspiring as well for other creatives who just want the longevity and just like always like following your passions and everything. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time today. I'm gonna let you spend time with your family now and everything, but it was very
Sorry about
great to yeah. Yeah, it was so great to meet you and have this chat too. I'm excited to share this and excited to see how people take in the album, and we'll continue to share it and share clips of this interview as well.
Thank you so much. Very great.
Thanks again to Mark for giving us all the details on the Asinhell debut. Like we mentioned, Impii Hora, the new album, it is out right now, brought to you by Metal Blade Records. And what can I say? It's fucking great. If you're into metal and this is your first time hearing about it, right when you hit the stop button on this episode, go and listen to it, please. And before I go and probably listen to it again, I first got to thank all you legends on the Patreon page. Like always, for giving me your love and support. And first up, we gotta thank our boy Mike Carniello of the Testing with Mike YouTube channel. If you're into technology, electronics, how they work, and most importantly, how to fix them, check out Testing with Mike on YouTube. Also, the lovely Amanda McKnight of Top 10 Nerd. Beyond being the host of Top 10 Nerd and talking to millions of subscribers, she has her very own YouTube channel. Definitely search for Amanda McKnight. If you're into comic books, video games, movies, and all things nerdy. Another thanks to the wonderful Jenny Potter, the legend Devin McBride, Ryan frickin' Campbell, my favorite soul singer, Saber, and last but not least, Francis Coffer. aka my mom. If you want to support the show and get all these episodes early, raw, uncut, no edits, right when I'm done the Zoom call, I just post them, you can go to patreon.com/The Creative Imbalance. And beyond having my thanks and getting a shout out at the end of the show, you'll get to go to bed at night and sleep soundly, knowing you're a badass motherfucker who supports raw, uncut, independent media. And nobody can take that away from you. You hear me? With that being said, we got so many episodes for you. We're covering the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. Got some cool horror and sci-fi. Also some other things. I did an interview with the voice actress of the Street Fighter character I play. One with the creator of Air Bud. And this week we are talking to the band Unearth. Endless well of interviews coming your way. I appreciate you guys listening, and we'll catch you next time. Yeah.